Hi guys, and welcome back to Switch Up. Now, a big thanks to the website Deku Sales, which is, I believe, it seems reasonably new. I've never seen it before, but it's brilliant for finding eShop sales, and the way they lay out their stuff is incredibly simple. Now, thanks to that website, I've been able to compile a slightly different sales video this time around. It's only, and I'm going to try and do this going forward, going to show games that are on the biggest discount that they've seen so far. You could say that they are huge savings. Yeah. Now check the top comment, you'll see the winners from last week's free giveaway, and the guys over at Hypercharge Unboxed have given us 10 copies of that game to give over the next few weeks. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning one of those, then just leave a normal comment. Stick around till the end if you want to see games to avoid, and remember, the regions the sales are on will be shown in the bottom right of the screen. With all of that said, what's on sale? Let's find out. First up, we've got the Darkside Detective, which is on a 50% sale. The lowest it's been so far. This one goes on until the 25th of June, so you've got a few days and it's around about £5. Now, the Darkside Detective is very similar to games like Thimbleweed Park and Monkey Island. However, this time around, you get to solve the cases in the order you choose, and they've added a couple since the launch of the game. Now, when I originally reviewed this, I absolutely loved it. I believe it got over 90%. It does everything in a very classic and traditional way, but the thing they get just right is the humour. You have a sidekick of sorts, as these games generally have, called Officer Dooley, and he is classic. He comes out with all kinds of ridiculous one-liners that are completely inappropriate, but let's be honest, they're the ones that are the funniest. They're working hard on the Darkside Detective 2, so I would strongly recommend, if you're a fan of the point-and-click genre, then you consider picking this one up. It has a supernatural twist to it, there's a touch of X-Files about it as well, and it's just overall a great game. Glen reviewed Val Ferriss on the channel, and at the moment it's 45% off, taking it down to $13. And don't forget to check the bottom right of the screen to see if it's also 45% off in your region. Coming from the same guy that made Slain, this one features an equally heavy metal soundtrack and is really difficult. The visuals aren't going to be for everyone, but I really like them. The parallax scrolling in the background, the bright, vibrant colours offset against some of the darker, almost alien architecture really worked for me. Now, this sale goes on for quite a while. You've got until the 1st of July. But if you're a fan of 2D action titles and you've been eyeing this one up for a while, well, it's the cheapest it's been right now. I'm pretty sure this next one's going to be a game that most of you haven't heard of. Now, Wanderlust was actually, I believe, written by one of the guys that wrote the Witcher quest lines. I think that's right, he definitely worked on the Witcher series. They're essentially interactive novels. You remember like the old choose your own adventure games? They're a bit like that, but that really makes them sound lame. The writing is incredible, and the audio that goes along with everything, it's really quite clever. Like, for example, one of them, you're planning a trip to go somewhere that you've always wanted to go in your life, and you choose the different items you take with you, and then along the way you might meet someone that needs one of them, and you make the decisions as you go, and it will affect the outcome of the story and the way that it plays out. They're so relaxing. I thought it was going to be absolute garbage. A great game, really good. It's the lowest it's been at 50% off, and that goes on till the 15th of July. Now, Project Highrise Architects Edition is an excellent game. It's like a 2D tower building title where you have to choose the different facilities and businesses that are going to be in your tower. Now, obviously, you get to place them and choose where they go. There's a little bit of tweaking in terms of choosing the proximity of different things, as some will work better together, and the tower just grows and grows and gets massive. There's a ton of content in this one. The problem was that at launch it was ludicrously expensive, really, and at the moment it's 70% off, taking it down to around about $12, which, as you've gathered by now, is the lowest it's ever been. It includes, I believe, 3 different expansions. It's one of those real life eater titles. It's very good, well made. It was just too expensive at launch. Now's the time to check it out. It doesn't need a huge amount of introduction, particularly if you've watched this channel more than once. But Moonlighter is once again at its lowest ever price of 60% off. If you're not sure what this is, well, you have your own little shop in a town, but in the evenings, to get the stuff that you actually want to sell, you have to go into different dungeons, kill all the monsters, fight bosses, but make your way back out alive. If you die, you'll very often lose a good portion of the gear that you managed to salvage. It's got that lovely risk-reward mechanic that can be incredibly tense, but when you manage to get out with all of that stuff and sell it in the daytime, my goodness, this game is so addictive. You choose and set the different prices of the items you want, make sure you lay them out all nice, and also chase away any would-be thieves that come to your shop. There's another expansion that's just come out for this one, and I believe they're working on more content all the time. Very, very good game. Loved this one. Well worth picking up. Now, Duke Nukem 3D World Tour is a game that's perfect on Switch. I can't talk about my review, which is going to be out on the 23rd and is under embargo, but what I will say is this is 50% off, taking it down to around about $5 or £4, depending on what region you're in, and it's definitely worth picking up. Surely I'm allowed to say that. That's not like telling you my review score. Pick this up, get it on sale. My goodness, this is like the bargain of the century. I really want to say, I can't say, but pick it up. Trust me, just get it. It's well worth it, man. Now, if you're unsure, this version comes with HD rumble. It comes with gyroscopic aiming, which you can use on a single pad or with split Joy-Con. It comes with 8-player online co-op play. I mean, how cool is that? And there's also the Duke Match mode for fighting against other players online for $5. My goodness. Yep, so this one I would suggest picking it up on that lower price. A game that potentially is better with others online if you can find them, or just generally with other people, but doesn't really require it, is Runner 3. Now this one is 93% off, taking it down to 98p. Can't even get a bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk with that. Get like a pack and a half of, I don't know, Hubba Bubba. Hubba Bubba, that's a silly name. Anyway, Runner 3 is a side-scrolling, almost endless runner title, where every jump that you take has to be pinpoint accurate and precise, but there's a musical element to it as well, and it's a Nicalis release. They just make quality titles. There's a lot of reviews out for this one if you fancy a bit more information. It's been on sale a few times over the months, but this is by far the cheapest it's been, and it goes on until the 29th if you're interested. It's hugely colourful, definitely a good one if you've got kids, but it is very challenging. Certainly one to consider. Yesterday, Origins started off at about 40 quid on the eShop, and then they permanently reduced the price to, I can't remember, it was something like 20 quid, and now you can get it on sale at the moment for $2.99, or your regional equivalent, which represents 80% off the new lower price, but compared to its original launch price, it's like 95% off. This one only goes on until the 24th, so if you want it, then get it quickly. It's got a really nice story. It takes inspiration from things like Broken Sword, and it has a bit of that point and click nature to it, but it's quite an adult themed title. There's a bit of time traveling here, which I always enjoy, and it's one of the better titles that's been brought to the Switch from Microids. Well worth picking up for about $3. We've got Panpan, a tiny big adventure. For the most part, you'll be wandering around areas trying to solve puzzles, and it can actually be quite tricky. I got stuck for ages on this one. It's not the longest game, it's got a lovely style. I do like this art style a lot, and it has that certain mystery that some titles seem to convey. For this price, it's an easy pickup and well worth recommending, and that sale of 80% goes on until the 2nd of July. It's got a lovely soothing feeling to it, and that soundscape has actually been handcrafted, so to speak, by Simon Vickland, who is a world-renowned composer. The overall aim of the game is to fix your spaceship and begin your journey home, and I'm pretty sure you won't be disappointed with the, albeit brief, 2-hour-long experience. So that brings me on to my most enjoyed part each month, and that's the 2 games to avoid like a global pandemic. Wait, what? First up, we've got a game called Desert Child, which looked amazing. It had a really retro style to it, but not in the, oh look, there's another one of those crappy side scrolls. No. It looked like something like Beneath a Steel Sky, but mixed with a real-time racing game. But unfortunately, it was repetitive and dull. The essential aim of the title was to make enough money to go back to Mars, or to buy your ticket to Mars, and it amounted to doing the same things over and over and over again. The races had a weird rubber band mechanic that was just bad, and it overall was a disappointment. Next up is Summer in Mara. Now, I just reviewed this one on the channel, and you'll know from that review just how disappointed I was by the title.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
There's a lot of us, I think, in the same boat. We saw this and we were like, that is an easy win. That's going to be great. From Kickstarter to being funded and then made to look so beautiful, and unfortunately, every single fetch quest, every single quest was a fetch quest, and there's 300 of them, and after 201 I was utterly bored with it. It was such a shame. The farming side as well just wasn't tweaked enough, and it wasn't balanced in the way that you had to go about it. With maybe 3 or 4 quite simple changes, the game could be very good indeed, even down to having a sandbox option and letting you just run your island, forget about all the quest nonsense, and give the player all the tools they need from the start. That would be a nice place to improve the game without actually having to change anything. But at the moment, I would say avoid, and when they patch it and update it, I'll be sure to let you know. So that's it for this week. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Like someone else's comment so that the cream rises to the top. Don't like your own comment. Who does that? Everyone does that, don't lie. As always, a big thanks to our patrons and the new ones who have joined us this week. We really do appreciate it. And for all things Switch, all the time, some of you just said it, didn't you? Keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!